I'm Boss Babe Keela.
And I'm Girl Boss Lena.
And I'm Bond Girl Jessica.
And you know what that means? It's Whine
Whine
Down
Down
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
So I'm gonna get us started and shake things up.
Let's get this party started.
Put my magic up. I'm gonna shake things up with my magic cup. Y'all know I always got a song for something.
From the window to the wall.
No, not that way.
You know, my daughter went to a Christian daycare one time at one point in life and came home singing that Lil Jon song.
No.
I was like, oh, this is what the Christian daycare is listening to during the day.
Oh my God. They ski.
Gotta love it.
Okay, let's see what we got today.
What we talk about.
All right. Hold on a second. All right. I'm sorry.
You having trouble?
I am.
No,
Listen, it's been a long week, y'all. Okay. I'm gonna need Jessica for this question.
Oh
Is it
no.
wordy?
Correcting someone's grammar is it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Can I ask the question? Already, Lena cutting up already. We ain't even got the question out my mouth. Correcting someone's grammar, is it helpful or rude? This one's to you, Jessica.
Just for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it depends on the context. So, like,
not Lena with her drink already.
This is another thing that drives me insane.
We'll get to you. We'll get to you because you, girl, you ready to go.
I know,
she got her pep out. She's like, you gonna give this one to Jessica? You should have asked me.
Oh, girl, she's the word
but
girl.
I think it just depends because like now if I see somebody, I've seen people do stuff on social media and like words are spelled wrong, they use the wrong like vocabulary word. I'll inbox them and be like, hey, I rewrote this for you. You might want to fix it. I've done that several times. Because it was like there was this guy that he went to an expo and it was all women. No, I've done that for real.
Why am I dead? You know what?
Because I knew they couldn't do it by themselves, so I had to. Because it was gonna be terrible. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So
judgment.
Were you?
These are
helping
businesses.
Was
it
a
just
business, right?
People.
Business.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's different because if I made a grammatical error or something in a business post, I have had somebody come back and say, hey, you forgot an A or you forgot the, and I'm like, oh my God, thank you. That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's not what I'm talking
not a regular person. I don't care. Because if you chose to do that, that's on you. But I'll do it to a business. Because like I had a guy, he was trying to say ladies, but he accidentally put 2 D's in there. So it was like you were calling them men. Yeah. And I was like, so I inboxed him. I'm like, is that what you meant? Because, and he's like, oh, my bad. So see, it's stuff like that,
right.
But if it's a regular person, I don't care. And then I'll do it to be petty sometimes. Like, because I've encountered people who have been like, oh, I want this, but then what they're defining means something else. And I was like, that's not what you're asking me for. So what you're trying to say is,
Patty,
I'll do stuff like that. Or I'll just say something
Patty
stupid.
LaBelle is rearing her head.
Oh, yeah. She comes out all the time. She's like my alter ego. Like I'm nice or I'm Patty LaBelle.
Day after day.
It's more when people habitually use the wrong words. And I think we've talked about this in context before, like down here in the country fried South, they like to say, I'm specifically talking about that. No, you're not talking about the ocean. Let's put a specifically on the front of it. Like, I can't stand that. That is just.
I have a hard time when I see people say mines.
Or moms. Who's that? Oh, that's
Well,
Moms.
moms, I feel like moms is more slang, but I feel like when you say like mines, like that's
It's the
mines.
same
Or
thing.
those are mine. You know, I already got mines. Do
No,
you?
it's the same. It's this. It believe me. Oh, here's the other one that I can't stand. Not where do you live? Where do you stay at? And I'm like, is it temporary?
For some, it might be. You never.
Is it
Yeah.
temporary? Like, where do you live? No, where you stay at? No, no. I live at. I don't
Do y'all ever
stay
like meet people
on
who
someone's couch.
put S's at the end of everything? Like I'm going to Kroger's, or
Oh, here's the
Sounds like
other
an
one.
old
do that
person
here
thing.
all the
Yeah,
time.
or the Facebook.
Or how my mom used to confuse Facebook and well, MySpace is so gone. And I would be like, Mom, nobody uses MySpace. She would call it My Face. They over there on that My Face. I don't even think that
That's
exists.
Oh, that's funny.
You
that's
mean
just a black mama thing to do.
it very,
Black mama
very.
thing to do.
Or Facebook.
No, there are just some things that just. The other thing is when people call them shrimps. No,
Mhm.
one
Mhm.
singular or plural. There's no S. There's no S. Or
Fishes.
we're when people say I can do the splits. No, it's not the splits. It's a split. It's just one. How many of them do you think you're doing at once? The splits. It's one split. Just one.
I had a friend who like when memes were new, he was like, "Yeah, I saw this really cool meme." And I was like, "What is?"
This Mimi.
See, that's what I was petty. I was like, "What's a meme? Come on, explain to me what you talking about." Because he lost it, but yeah, he called a meme for a long time
A
until I
Mimi.
finally corrected him.
A Mimi.
Well, maybe it was a Mimi to him.
There was a no. That's what it was. That's not how you say it.
It's not a Mimi, it's a you.
Yeah, it really depends on. I just don't like when people, you know, call people out on in public like that though. I like the way you do, Jessica, and you send them a inbox. You know what I mean? And be like, "Hey, your grammar's off," or
Did
I
you
Yeah,
had
really mean to say
somebody.
that?
Hmm?
yeah.
I'm
I
like, did
wouldn't
you
want
really
nobody to
mean?
do me like that.
Cause so I felt some kind of way. I will tell you, I was all in every bit of my fucking feelings when somebody invited me to their group, right? And I was like, okay. And I thought he invited me to his group because he wanted me to bring some knowledge to this motherfucker. He, as soon as I put something up, he proceeded to correct me and dissect what I was putting up. And he
What?
told me my message was being skewed or not received properly because of the kerning. And he tried to use all these words. I'm like, don't play with me. Like, I was so hot. Like, and he did it underneath the post, like underneath and I was like, yo.
Yeah, like he wanted to embarrass you.
And then he wrote in there, this wasn't meant to embarrass you. And I was like, you're an asshole. I was like, look,
Okay,
you
but
invited.
when people do stuff like that, does it make you look bad, the person who
It makes
posted it,
them
or
look.
does it make them look bad? And to me, it
That's
made
what I
him
said
look
to
like a jerk.
him.
So that
That's
tells
what I
me that
said
I
to
would
him.
never
You
want
look
to post
really.
anything in your group if you were going to
That's what I said to
put
him.
me
I said,
down
I
like that.
will. I said, oh, you ain't got to worry. I ain't never posted. Well,
Exit
I hope
stage
you
left.
change your mind. Delete, click,
No.
erase, not join,
Mhm.
undo.
Black.
Right.
Right. I'm like, so if it is something of that nature where I felt like I was targeted, then
Mm-mm.
that's a little bit different. But typically, I don't have a problem with somebody jumping in and being like, yo, you misspelled, da 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 da, or your link
But I
doesn't
feel like
work
since she
right,
did it
or
privately, that's better than like
right.
somebody posting
No,
under
oh
there
no, it
and
was the
calling you
testosterone. It
out
was a
in these
guy.
streets. Like,
It was
oh,
a
you want
guy.
to fight?
It was a
Oh, so
man.
you want to fight, huh?
It was a
You trying to
man.
pull me by my hair and drag me out? Oh, no, no, no,
Oh, well, he came with some scratches on him because
he
I
came
got him
back.
from the ankles down. My little short stuff, I got him from the ankles down. I was like, you are not about to call me out in front of your
Everybody,
group. Right. And you see, and in a group, you can see how many people saw it because I got all the
the
little
little
faces
head.
on there. And nobody said anything, but everybody was looking. And I was like, oh, I'm about to get this ninja. He think he up here trying. I know potty mouth this episode. I apologize, but I was really in that really,
Because it was unnecessary too. It was
I felt targeted.
unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, he went in there and literally solicited me. Hey, I would love for you to join my group. You seem to know a lot. You know what I mean? Can you come in and blah, 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 blah. And then he comes in and, but nah,
That's not cool.
Nope.
uncool. I don't like it.
So in that case, it wasn't helpful. It was very rude. So it could be either or. So correcting someone's grammar can be either or. Like it could be helpful, or if you're just a jerk about it, it depends on how you're doing it, you know. And there's articles like, okay, have you ever? I know it's like when you have someone who writes a blog or something like that, and they're like, oh, if you see any like grammatical errors or anything like this, please let us know, we'll correct it or something like that.
Right.
So anything done like privately, but I don't believe in public humiliation because it's not helpful. I see people do that a lot in comments.
Right.
Like if you're on Instagram and it's like, why are you doing all that? Some of that stuff is so unnecessary. And I think the person who it kind of makes them look weird.
Questionable.
Yeah, and it's like they're so busy trying to call somebody out and fact check them. It's just, I don't know. This whole fact checking generation really irritates my soul, by the way.
It makes me feel like they got a whole lot of time on their hands.
Oh, well, what article did you get that from? It is on paragraph, blah, 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 blah. And I get that they're doing that in school. Like they're having kids fact check stuff. And I mean, that's fine. That's great. If you're doing a research paper, you absolutely want to be correct. But for somebody's everyday conversation, like really, shut up. Like we didn't grow up with that.
Right. It's not that intense.
It's really not. And you got kids trying to fact check their parents now. I would love to try to fact check my parents. I may not be here.
No, my dad's favorite line was "Do as I say and not as I do."
I didn't get that, but I definitely would have got it for having a flip mouth because to me that sounds, it comes off as flip. Like, oh, well, where did you get your information? What's your source?
Yeah.
So you got kids doing that to their parents now, and I think that that's completely inappropriate.
Well, you know why though? Also, it's because in this day and age, with the internet and the anonymity, people've got this bravado. So stuff that they wouldn't say to somebody's face,
behind the text courage.
They won't say it to this, but they're gonna say it behind the keyboard. That false sense.
And that's the sad part, because back in our day, somebody would have found you.
But I mean, you get the right person on the internet, they can still find you.
And I bet you'll be somebody from my age group.
Being all in their feelings and mad.
You're gonna find them. So you feeling froggy. Who was that?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch that one? It was something that was viral. It was these two kids. They were doing something in this hotel room, and they decided that they were gonna film this old school military guy because I guess he was a security guy there, and they were running in and out of the hotel, harassing people. Two non-ethnic people,
right?
And the dude came out who was of ethnicity and basically was like, if you don't get your boop 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 out this hotel, I'm going to boop boop. And she was like, I'm filming you. He said, you film what you want to. I'll break that camera. And I was like, y'all wasn't ready for the old school because they didn't care.
Yeah, because they don't care about nothing.
They don't. Go tell your mama. I'll whoop her too. Like, it's like.
Right. They're not ready for that. They are not ready for that.
No, them kids wasn't ready for that. But here you causing a ruckus and you think he was gonna run up in there and talk to somebody crazy and you ran into an old head. And they don't play. Them OGs don't play. They don't care who you are. Bring them.
Right.
Go on ahead if you want to.
I'm recording you. I'm recording you. Record this.
Right.
You got it all. Let me show you in
Did you
replay.
get that? Yeah. People are a little sassy these days, especially in the anonymity part, behind the internet.
They are. Sometimes it makes it hard to read the comments because I get tired of those people, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't like all of the that's like we talked about, people putting TMI and all of that stuff. It's just I don't subscribe to all of that back and forth, all of that kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I do see people that make those goofy errors all the time, with their spelling and all that kind of stuff. And I know what they meant to say. They just didn't use spell check or they got just crappy grammar or whatever. But I don't take those as serious businesses or anything either. Because if you're going to put something like that out there on your business page, then you're not really that serious about what's going on. You know what I mean?
Just don't care.
If you're just being goofy and you're doing that, putting up some kind of ebonics, whatever, you know what I mean, up on your page with some crazy meme or meme or something like that, then that's different.
Yeah. But I think it kind of detracts from your business when you do stuff like that.
Right. It makes you look illiterate. And who wants to? No, seriously.
I mean, it does.
No, I know.
And who wants to patronize your business because you don't know what you're going to get from this illiterate person, right?
That's true.
So
a lot of illiteracy.
A lot of foolishness and shenanigans like we have here on this show.
We always have a shenanigans. I love our shenanigans.
The best on Wednesdays.
But I think we have thoroughly covered this topic.
I think so. I don't like it. I don't like being called out publicly like that. No.
So don't be rude. If you're gonna correct Lena, you better do it privately. Don't be rude. Don't be trying to bust her out. Send her a text.
Oh, and you better be right if you're gonna bust me out. Don't be coming to try to bust me out and then be wrong.
That is a whole nother podcast. And on that note, we will catch y'all next week. Not early.